Hello, good morning. My name is Bethany Friesen. This is Kelsey Frost and George Allegre. On behalf of the University of Washington Delta chapter, we are here to share with you our service program called the Community College Outreach Program, otherwise known as C.C.O.P, and how it helps others understand the financial information professions. These are the topics that we will be covering in our presentation. First is our current endeavors, next, learning and expansion, and finally, our impact and how other chapters can emulate our program. So what is the whole purpose of the Community College Outreach Program? The purpose of C.C.O.P is to raise awareness and increase students' interest about the financial information professions and what they are. We want students to learn about these professions within accounting, finance, and information systems early on in their academic career, so they're not only just aware of them, but they may actually pursue one as a formal area of study. C.C.O.P was created in order to help students who plan on transferring from community college to the university make their transition as smooth as possible, while also expanding their awareness about career opportunities within the financial information field. To achieve this, our members help students understand the necessary requirements, academic expectations, and how to plan for a future career within the financial information field. C.C.O.P members host events at local community colleges in the Seattle area where we connect to students one-on-one. The topics that we cover include careers in the financial information field, and we also provide students with information about the transfer and admissions process. Accounting was one of the primary careers within the financial information field, so we talk to students about the various career paths that they can take within accounting, such as audit, tax, and advisory, and we also explain the differences between public and private industry. The recruiting process is another important aspect to this career, and we inform students well in advance about the necessary things that they should have in order to be as successful as possible during this time. This includes having a strong resume, practicing their interviewing skills, and building the confidence to talk to professionals. Since we represent Beta Alpha Psi, we encourage students to participate in the society once they reach the university, and we explain to them the necessary requirements. And we also let them know that finance and information systems majors are also a part of Beta Alpha Psi. The admissions process is another important topic that we cover with our students. The admissions process is very competitive to the University of Washington, and we want to ensure their success. It requires 2 separate applications, one to the University of Washington as well as the Foster School of Business. This allows students to focus on their studies and concentrate on career planning goals and less time spent worrying about their applications. So we talked to them about transfer requirements, application deadlines, and selection criteria. We've hosted 2 information sessions at North Seattle Community College where we got to talk to students one-on-one and help them navigate their admissions process. And at our latest event, we also took around 15 students from Bellevue College on a tour of the business school, who then later attended a Beta Alpha Psi meeting later that day. This provided them great exposure to the meetings, and they were also able to hear about the career opportunities within the financial information field directly from a professional. To train our volunteers, we have them attend an advisory meeting where they receive handouts about the purpose of the program and the topics we'd like them to highlight. We communicate to all of our volunteers and future ones via email, and we want to ensure that all the plans that we host are fun and well attended. So far, we have around 28 participating members in our program, and this is only our first year. We have accumulated 39 service hours and 70 coordination hours so far. And now Kelsey will talk to you about some things that we've learned along the way.
Thank you, Bethany. Each of C.C.O.P's events were structured differently, which allowed us to learn which techniques work best. As Bethany mentioned, our first event was an information session at North Seattle Community College. Originally, we had planned to make a presentation, but when we arrived, we realized that the students had wanted more interaction. So instead, we broke up into small groups of 1 UW student and 5 to 7 community college students. The students enjoyed this because they were able to ask questions in a smaller setting while also getting to hear the questions that other students had. We plan to use small groups again at our second information session, except that the students came and went at different times, so the event transformed into a social meet and greet where the students received handouts about the transfer process and then were able to mingle with the UW students. The students also enjoyed this because they were able to meet and interact with a larger number of UW students. From these events, we've determined that small groups would work best when meeting during allocated meeting times, and the social meet and greet format will work best when students are free to come and leave as they like. Our most recent event with Bellevue College was also a learning experience. Originally, we planned for them to attend Transfer Advising with the UW Career Center, to take them on a campus-wide and business school tour, to hold a Q&A session, and to attend the BAP meeting together. As Bethany mentioned, we only took them on a tour of the business school, held the Q&A session, and attended the BAP meeting. From these changes, we realized that these were the only aspects that the community college students were interested in, so future events will only focus on these. Keeping in mind what we learned, we have 2 more events planned for this quarter. We will hold a social meet and greet at North Seattle Community College's Accounting Fair on May 6th, and our second event will be a campus visit for the Edmonds Community College students sometime in May. Having learned from our experiences this year, we have determined the viability of our program, and we have further plans to expand and grow. We would like to create a mentorship program with North Seattle Community College to help involve them in university life before they get there. Each UWBAP member will be required to meet up with his or her mentee a total of 3 times each quarter. We are currently in the preliminary efforts of beginning this expansion and are gathering the names of interested UWBAP members to be part of the program. We would also like to conduct mock interviews with the community college students to help cultivate their interviewing skills and confidence for later application in professional interviews. To train for this event, our chapter has recently held an I Express mock interview workshop with professionals for our own members. From this event, we learned how to structure the interviews, what kind of questions the professionals asked, and what they were looking for in our responses. C.C.O.P plans to use the same format for our own mock interviews with the community college students because it ran efficiently and was effective for interviewing a large number of students. Lastly, we would like to expand our reach to local high schools. We have contacted a number of local high schools within our area and are waiting to hear back from the teachers there. And we plan to sit down with these teachers before the end of the school year to set dates for our presentations next year. By making these expansions, C.C.O.P is confident that it will better be able to help its community understand the financial information professions. Now I'm going to let George conclude with the impact that C.C.O.P has had.
Thank you, Kelsey. So C.C.O.P has had profound impacts on BAP members participating and in community college students. For BAP members, they've been able to enhance presentation and professional communication skills, increase confidence, as well as gain valuable leadership experience along the way. Because of C.C.O.P, community college students now have a better understanding of transfer requirements, what to expect, and how to adapt at the University of Washington, and also different career opportunities available within the financial information professions. And by having a better understanding of what's available after college, students can now choose to take electives that will be beneficial in their desired careers. And what this does is this results in a better education, and this allows us to increase our levels of competency within our professions, and so we can serve our communities better. Next, I'm going to outline some steps other chapters can take if they're interested in emulating our program. Your first step should be to assign 1 or 2 people as project leader in charge of this task. They'll be the ones contacting local community colleges, gathering and training volunteers, and planning and promoting your programs. Next step would be to get a group of motivated members from your chapter to participate. You should try to get former transfer students as they have first-hand knowledge of the process, and they'll be a valuable asset in that regard. Also, you should try to recruit information systems and finance concentration majors so that you have someone knowledgeable about careers outside of accounting. And once you have members, you can start gathering info on transfer requirements for your university, so it's easier for the community college students to transfer better. And so, for example, we have classes and selection criteria that the UW Business School uses to select candidates. And once you have that down, you can start training your members on topics regarding C.C.O.P. For example, we talk about differences between UW and a community college, and also some accounting careers. And around the same time, you can start contacting local community colleges about setting up an information session. And what we found is that calling them is a lot more effective than trying to use email. And once you have a day set for your information session, you can start promoting your event by posting flyers on bulletin boards around the community college, or making an announcement at the beginning of the class. And the information session should be used so you can give the community college students a quick summary of what it's like at the university, and also give them an overview of the financial information professions. And you can also use this to gauge your interest to see if a future event such as a campus tour or a discussion panel will be beneficial. So although we're a large chapter, we like to emphasize quality over quantity with our programs. This has essentially been a trial run for C.C.O.P, and we realize that its impact to the community and to our profession can be ignored, and so we're planning on making big changes as we pursue this project for years to come. Thank you again for your attention, and at this time, I'd like to open it to questions.
This seems like a real strong recruiting project. Did you need to involve your admissions department at all?
Well, we work with the admissions department just in terms of gathering the necessary materials to talk to the students about the requirements and admission the application deadlines that we mentioned, and so we utilize their materials. And we basically are independent from them because we set up our own events, and we actually go physically to the community colleges to talk to them.
What did you notice? What kind of major differences did you notice in the traditional student population like at four-year university like UW compared to the students that go to community colleges?
I would say that obviously the differences in academic expectations, and so a large part of the program is to inform the students about these changes once they reach the university, so that they're able to, succeed better than if they didn't have that information. So we're really there to help them along the way and to shorten that learning curve. So the academic level is not quite as challenging at the community college level. I'd say that's the primary difference.
I have a question. So when you talk with these students at the community college, did you get a feel for the most common questions so you can make a list for your members next year to carry on?
We definitely did. We actually have some sample questions of the most